And that's what he's holding. He's holding not only in his hands the ultrasound for a new life, but in his heart as well, that want for a new life. Welcome to Make a Path Presents. My name's Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk Abraham, Rosita, Sasha, and what it all means. Alright guys, we're going to run through real quick of Abraham's storyline in episode 11. This was stuff that was going to be in the Afterthoughts video, but I feel like it would have made it way too long. Let's jump right from the beginning. We have Abraham and Sasha coming in now. I didn't understand how important that scene was until later. We have Abraham in survival mode, and there's no time for kids in survival mode. So that's why throughout this whole episode he has Maggie's pregnancy on his mind. You can tell, and that kind of is because I feel of the duality going on inside himself between his survivor mode and him wanting to live. And now when I say that, I don't mean just simply living or existing or just breathing, but I mean like living, opening up, being happy, being in love, like that type of living. With that, you would have babies and life and family and everything like that. So he has it on his mind. He's in survivor mode. He's like, I don't know what Glenn and Maggie were thinking. Da 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 da. Sasha counters that with something positive. Well, maybe that's why, because the way the world is. She has a line similar, something like that. I'll talk about that in a minute. But then Sasha kind of rejects Abraham, and I got the feeling like Abraham was like, oh shit, really? And then went off accepting it, like, okay, he tried because he's in survivor mode. He wanted Sasha, she rejected him, okay, whatever. Goes back to Rosita, but he's still got Sasha on the mind. I feel still has Glenn and Maggie's pregnancy on the mind as well because of the conflict going on inside him. So Rosita gives him that necklace, but his thoughts are still on Sasha. So there's that conflict there. After that, we have the line where Abraham is taught the now infamous, iconic line about pouring Bisquick into making pancakes. And Glenn's reaction to that is terrific. I love Glenn, and I love Steven. He's perfect for that role. Now keep in mind, he's asking Glenn this, about making pancakes because he's in survivor mode still. He doesn't get it. Glenn tells him to try to help him understand. It's about living, it's about life, it's about family, that we're building something here. Abraham doesn't get it. After this, they go to help the Hilltop people that were in that car accident. He grabs the one guy and he starts choking him out. After he chokes him out, back in the RV, the guy has this moment where he's revealing to Jesus that he saw his wife when he was being choked out, and she died before this all went down, but he saw her, and that was like a comforting thing. Even though he's right about to die, seeing his wife like that was living. See what I mean? And Abraham's hearing that. Afterwards, we still see Abraham has the pregnancy on his mind. Again, because of the conflict inside him. Because he tells Daryl, he said something about settling down. And Daryl's like, well, you think shit is settled? That's kind of hard to pick out because Daryl kind of mumbles. And at first I thought he said, do you think she would settle? Or then I was thinking, no, maybe he said, do you think you should settle? As in, like, is that what you think in life? You think you should settle? And Daryl just simply says, when I rewatched it, turned up the volume, put on the captions, it appears Daryl says, you think shit is settle? Question mark. But anyway, right after this, you see something. A nice image, a cool image, a hint. The duality is one side starting to win over with Abraham. He has the necklace that Rosita proudly displayed on the outside for the world to see. He now takes that and hides it inside. In my opinion, the visual is to hide it, not to show it or tell the world or to be open about it. It's to hide it, in my opinion. And this is where we get our biggest turning point with Abe in the episode, because the fight breaks out when that Ethan Nathaniel guy stabs Gregory. Yeah, I said that funny. Watch the Afterthoughts video. Anyway, they start fighting. Abraham is being choked on the ground and his ears start ringing, and I felt like he went with it after a minute. In the beginning he struggled, And then he kind of went with it because his ears started ringing and he hears Sasha's voice. And Sasha repeats the same exact thing she says. It's her voiceover from the very beginning of the episode, where he, not understanding the pregnancy because of the conflict going on inside of him, where he is in survival mode, Glenn and them are in living mode. They're embracing love, embracing life, building a family. But in survival mode, you can't do that. So there's that conflict. And then Sasha counters that with the positive. Well, maybe that's why, dumbass, because of the way things are, because of the way things go. That, in that moment, does something to Abraham, because then when Daryl picks him up, he's like, hey, you okay? And Abe is like, man, I am more than okay. And when he gets up, we see Rosita, a nice visual now, we see Rosita's necklace down in the dirt where Abraham and Rosita's relationship now lives. Hell, that could even symbolize their relationship's gravesite. So Abraham tells Daryl, I'm doing better than all right. And here's where we get the most important, deepest moment, in my opinion, dealing with Abraham and his story. You have Glenn and Maggie, again, crucial characters in this part of Abraham's life, because they bring out the conflict within inside Abraham that essentially changes him. What I'm talking about is they have the ultrasound. They're passing it around. Now, remember Abraham coming down, very serious, and wants to know what Glenn was thinking. Was he trying it? Giving him advice like, listen, dude, you shouldn't screw around. Be a survivor, I don't know why you're playing, homemaker or something. I don't know. Building a home. What are you doing that for? So Abraham's very serious in the RV on the way down. Going back now, he gets handed this child, this new life, and it brings out this maybe a want for a new life within Abraham. He lost his family and he shacked up with Rosita, and that has been his life up until this point. With Sasha, there's something there. And the understanding, the conflict, and dealing with everything that arose from Maggie and Glenn's situation with the baby. He's now holding this ultrasound, this image of a new life, when he himself basically is just starting his new life after being choked out, and that conflict winning over, and he knows now what he wants. So I see this as Abraham in the RV in the beginning going to the hilltop. He's in survivor mode. He's cut off. He's not in love. He's not building a thing. He might even like Sasha, whoop-de-whoop, have those love emotions are creeping up, but he's in survivor mode. Even though he liked her and put it out there, got rejected. We still don't know what that's about. I think it's because he's still with Rosita, and Sasha's like, listen, I told you, fall back or dump her and come with me and we're good. I think something like that plays a factor, and I think, Abraham needs to dump her for Sasha to say, okay, whoop-de-whoop. But we have Abraham going to the hilltop in survivor mode. He's not living yet. On the way back, he's in living mode. And I'm not talking about just simply living, breathing. I'm talking about accepting love, accepting life, building a family, a new life even. And that's what he's holding. He's holding not only in his hands the ultrasound for a new life, but in his heart as well, that want for a new life. And he wants it with Sasha. And I think this is actually an incredibly powerful moment for not only Abraham, but for a character in a zombie show. You know what I mean? That's deep. I love it. And that is why it deserved its own video. This is a terrific story they're building with Abraham, and if they just recklessly kill him off, I will be pissed. Give me your thoughts and opinions. I really wish I could have worded this poetically, but I didn't. I can't. I'm in a rush. Thoughts and opinions about Abraham and his want for a new life down in that comment box. What do you think about him, Rosita, Sasha? Nope. Holly's dead, so she's off the list. Put your thoughts and opinions in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.